Hey friends, thanks for tuning in. Today is the second video in a series where I'm searching for cheap restaurant or takeout food. And the first place I'm heading is El Pollo Loco. They used to have an amazing value menu and I haven't been there for quite a while, so I thought I should check it out. Unfortunately, they no longer have a value menu. The cheapest thing I could find were these digital exclusives. They had a street corn chicken pollo bowl and a shredded chicken and cheese pollo bowl, and these were $5.99. I asked about these when I went in, and she just gave me the options between the two bowls, and I chose the street corn chicken pollo bowl. I actually ended up purchasing two of these, one for my son with chicken and one for myself without. I used to like to order the classic tostada here, which I thought was really good, but this is coming in now at $10.99 and $13.49 for a combo. I used to also get the original pollo bowl, and today that's $6.59. Basically, it's very similar, except it has more onions and the tomato mix instead of the corn, which, to be honest, I probably would like that better. But that is a little bit more expensive, so I just went for the less expensive option today. And I was able to get both of these for $12 plus tax, so $5.99 per meal is still not a bad deal. Let's just see how it tastes. They used to have an amazing value menu. I know one of the options was for a taquito meal. They had some other ones as well, and I think those were $5. But I noticed they don't have those on the menu anymore, which is a real bummer because the value menu is coming back this summer, and there's a few places that have them. And I'm excited to check those out later in the video. But I got home and I pulled these out. I actually got this one for my son for his lunch. He'll probably take that, but I just got it so I could show you guys what they look like, because I have felt like El Pollo Loco is a good place to get a somewhat healthier fast food meal. So if you order at the counter and you select the type of salsa that you want, you get 2 per bowl. Now, if I would have said I was eating there and then just asked for some of the containers, they'll give you as many as you want, and then I could have just loaded up at the salsa bar, but I really wasn't thinking clearly. I was in a hurry, and of course I was filming. It does look like this cilantro is a little bit wilted, but that's okay. It's kind of amazing how much flavor you get out of just a small amount of cilantro to add that freshness to the dish. And this has always been a very, I don't know how to say it, rich dish that needs to be balanced out with that salsa. So I probably would have enjoyed having a few more of those. Next time I go in there, that's basically what I'm going to do. And then I used to always like getting this with the tortillas, but, and I think that it did come with the tortillas before. However, it didn't come with them this time. You had to pay extra and get the combo with the soda, which I wasn't going to do. Normally I do have tortillas at home, but I just used my last ones, I think yesterday. I do have some chips, so I'm probably going to bring those out and eat those along with this, but you certainly don't need to. These meals are super filling. I do love the flavor of the El Pollo beans. In my opinion, they're probably the best restaurant beans out there. They just have so much flavor and they're so tender and so good. I think they had 3 options on the salsa, and I actually don't remember what the name of this one was, but that's the one I normally get, and it just makes everything so much better. But this cilantro really does go a long way in making this taste fresh. I think that this is a good value menu for $5.99. Wish it was a little bit cheaper, but still in the $5 range is not bad. I do like to eat mine along with tortillas or with tortilla chips, so if you have some at home, that makes this perfect. Otherwise, you do need to buy them, and they're, I think, $1.19 extra. These are so filling. My son said the next day that he had taken his in his lunch and that it was super, super filling, but he did say how much he had enjoyed it. And I always forget about El Pollo Loco. It's so funny because I brought these meals home, and I brought one for Justin, but when I got home, he had actually had dinner ready for me, and he had made this pasta from Trader Joe's. It's the arrabbiata, which is the spicy pepper pasta in the bag. And then he had added some vegan meatballs to it and then made this garlic toast with a Parmesan crust. And this was so good. So I ended up eating this for my dinner, and we both saved El Pollo Loco for our lunches the next day. Okay, so I've been doing some online sleuthing, and I found that Subway has these foot-long dippers for $3. And they have a variety of those to choose from. So I thought I would head to Subway and Jess and I would get one of these and then split it and see what we think. They are showing up as $4 in the restaurant, but they're actually $3 in the app, which is starting to be a trend for this video. You always get your food cheaper if you order it in the app, which seems kind of ridiculous when you're standing in the store to have to order it on the app. But if that's what I have to do to save $1, then so be it. And sometimes it's more than $1, which you're about to find out very soon in this video. We ordered the pepperoni cheese dipper, but they did have one that was all cheese, but they didn't have any vegan options, which is kind of a bummer that a lot of these value menus kind of leave out the vegan options. So they come on this flatbread, and then they just add the toppings that you want. They roll them up, and then they put them in their toaster oven, and that makes everything warm and gooey, and then they serve it like that. So she did this, and then she put them in the toaster oven once and brought them out, and then my son asked her to put them in a second time just to get them kind of crispy. And when we were asking her what her favorite roll was, she said that she liked to add a little barbecue sauce to the flatbread and then add some of the grilled chicken along with, I think, some of the provolone cheese, and then roll that up. And she said that that was her favorite. So I'm pretty sure my son's going to want to try that one next time. And here she's putting it in for the second time. It came with 4 choices for sauces to dip these in. I think one was ranch, one was honey mustard, one was barbecue. There was a sriracha, and there was a chipotle. So actually, I think that's 5 sauces. So we chose ranch, the chipotle, and the sriracha. And we did decide to eat outside. It is a beautiful day today in Irvine. It is nice and cool. So we're going to sit outside where there is a breeze. And we did bring our water bottles. So I fetched those from my car real quick. And again, this is meant to feed one, but we are headed to another location after this. So we're just going to split these between the 2 of us. But I actually do think that this would make a meal for lots of people. You could even purchase an apple at the store to add with this, and just to make it a little bit healthier and also to make it a little more filling. And at $3, I think that this actually is not bad. And we're going to just have some fun trying these different sauces along with this.
It doesn't look like much, but it's delicious. That pita bread is actually really good and it's soft.
My son informed me that ranch must be combined with pepperoni. So I tried that one, and that was really good. And you may be wondering why I'm eating the pepperoni. I don't usually eat it, but I did want to try it for you guys just to be able to give you an honest review of that. And I thought it was delicious. The sriracha was a little too hot for me. I did enjoy the chipotle. I think that was also a really good one. I think I would have liked the barbecue sauce as well, but not necessarily with the one with pepperoni. My son and I have been enjoying this series so much, just going out with your friends and family and trying to locate cheap eats in your community. It's just, I mean, it's exciting. It's kind of like an adventure, and it's just something to look forward to that gets you out of the house, and it doesn't cost a lot of money. That's the best part of all. I was interested in finding some sit-down options that were inexpensive as well, because it is great to get takeout, but sometimes it's fun to eat in a restaurant. So I thought about heading to Denny's because I remembered Denny's as always being a great value. And when I checked them out online, they had this 2-4-6-8 value menu that looked to have some options that I could make a meal with. I haven't been to Denny's in forever. In fact, just coming here brings back a little nostalgia. When I looked at the menu, some of the prices were higher and they weren't advertising the 2468 value menu that I saw online. In fact, the stack of pancakes was $1.50 higher, and when I asked the waiter about it, he said that they didn't have that. It was kind of hot in the restaurant, so I just pulled out my phone and ordered the meal online, and I was able to get the $2 pancakes. So then I just needed to find a place to eat, and I found that we were very close to Irvine's Great Park, which is a ginormous, ginormous space. In fact, I do need to explore this one day. But they have this hot air balloon that they let people go up in rides, and it's kind of stationary, but it goes just up and down, and people go on rides in that. And then where we ended up was actually near these soccer fields. But I was just driving and looking for a place for us to eat, and we found this bench. And again, it's a beautiful day. I actually filmed this on the same day that we had gone to Subway, and we went there first and then we came here. So you can't tell, but these are actually huge, huge containers. So I think that these pancakes are going to go a long way. Justin ordered some biscuits and gravy, and I think those were $2.99. And those come with sausage gravy. I ordered these 2 pancakes and 1 egg, which is scrambled egg. And these look like more than 1 egg. And again, you can't tell because it's really hard to know scale and have it reflected accurately on film. But this is really big. And then I was wondering, is $2 for pancakes a really good deal? The only other place that I can think of that I love pancakes from is McDonald's, and those were over $4 right now. So yes, I definitely think this is a good deal. So I was able to get the egg was the most expensive. I think it was like $3.19. So my total breakfast was $5.19. But of course, I was sharing with Justin because we were just out and about, getting these meals to show you guys. And I wanted to try some of his biscuits and gravy also. And honestly, this is enough to share. I almost think that if I ordered this along with maybe 1 more egg, that would be enough of a meal for 2 people. Or maybe even add some hash browns on here. I think that would be nice. Okay, so here is what Justin ordered was the biscuits with the sausage gravy. And again, this was $2.99 for this. And actually, this was very, very underwhelming. I don't know if it's because we're comparing it to the biscuits and gravy that I make, which are so much better. But it just,
Bad.
first of all, it was kind of lukewarm. So that was unappetizing. And then
No, it needs way more pepper. That's what it needs.
it just, the flavor was not there. But I do have to say that those eggs from Denny's were really good. And I'm somebody that doesn't even really care for eggs that much, but those were tasty. When I was doing my research, I found people on Reddit talking about this place called 7 Grams. And they said that this tasted very similar to Din Tai Fung, which is a place that I've been wanting to go to, but they're very expensive. So I just haven't made it there because I haven't been wanting to spend the money. So anyway, but I found out that they had some cheap eats. So I was super excited to check this place out. And this is a dim sum restaurant. If you're wondering what dim sum is, it's a Chinese meal that consists of small plates. And traditionally, they were enjoyed for brunch. But there are tons and tons of varieties of these small dishes. I read that in China alone, there are over 2,000 varieties. And the term dim sum translates literally to touch the heart. And I looked at the menu online first to make sure that there was something I could order for myself. And for a sit-down meal, I knew it was going to be a little more expensive, and my meal was going to be $7. I knew with tip, I could be in and out for less than $10. There was a wait, which was a good sign, because it means their food is probably very good. They sat us at this small little bar at the corner of the room, which was perfectly fine for me because it was kind of like we were tucked away in a private spot. They had lots of delicious looking items on their menu, but I had done my research and I already knew that these wontons with chili sauce were one of the most popular menu items, and people also like these steamed dumplings. They have these labeled as 7 grams XLB, and XLB stands for Xiaolongbao, and it refers to the type of small Chinese steamed dumplings that are traditionally prepared in xiaolong, which is a small bamboo steaming basket. They had 2 menu items that I was interested in ordering for myself. They had cold noodles with chili oil dressing, and that was made with a peanut sauce. And then they had these noodles with scallion oil sauce. And I asked the server which one was more popular. She said they sell about the same amounts of them, but she said that she really loved the peanut sauce noodles. So I thought I would order that. And if I like the dish, I'm hoping to get some inspiration for my own cooking. Traditionally, tea is served along with dim sum. I've read that jasmine green tea is a popular choice, but I spotted that grapefruit jasmine green tea and it looked so appetizing, but it is a hot tea and I'm definitely not up for a hot tea in this weather, but I do think I might want to come back in the winter just to give that a try. It sounds so appetizing with the grapefruit. Okay, so here is the xiaolongbao, and they served it along with this container of chili sauce, which I liked, and then also the container next to it had soy sauce, and I really liked how clean everything looked. Sometimes when you go to restaurants, you get the condiments and they're all goopy looking, but these were fresh and clean looking, and I ended up spilling a little bit. So he filled his container up with the soy mixture because obviously he's gonna dunk some of these in that. And they also serve this along with 2 little containers of sliced ginger. And these are small plates like Spanish tapas would be. So obviously these are all meant for sharing. But today we were just ordering our own individual items.
This is nuts. This is nuts. This is maybe one of the best things I've ever eaten. I'm not kidding.
It made me really happy that my son enjoyed this meal so much because he's never had xiaolongbao before. And I think for both he and I, the only kind of dim sum we've had so far has been wontons. So anyway, here is my cold noodle salad with peanut sauce. It has some chili oil in there. It had peanut butter dressing, some chopped peanuts, bean sprouts, and green onions. And I can tell you already that this was delicious, and I'm definitely going to be taking these ideas back home into my own kitchen to try to recreate this dish. And what I love so much about this is it did have a strong peanut flavor, but it wasn't too rich. So that's the key for me, is always trying to get that perfect balance. I have to say, I really like that combination of these bean sprouts with the cold noodles. Now, the restaurant that I was talking about earlier, Din Tai Fung, actually has a cold noodle salad with tiny slivers of tofu mixed in with the noodles, and you can't really even tell there's tofu in there. But I really like that idea also. So one day I would like to try that. And I knew going to the restaurant that this would be an affordable meal for me, and I also knew that it would probably fill me up. And you can't really tell the size of the bowl on camera, but it was actually a very large bowl. And those noodles were delicious. And then my son ordered these, I think these are wontons with a chili sauce. And you know what? He loved these just as much, if not even more, than the xiaolongbao. So he was a very happy foodie after this experience. I've been thinking of ways that I can incorporate this into my own cooking, and making dumplings is actually quite easy. I've made them before. They're especially great for budget cooking because they're made out of flour, water, and salt. That's all it is. And then just whatever you have for the filling. I just haven't put an Asian spin on them, which is something I'm really looking forward to in the fall, or as soon as it cools down and I feel like getting back in my kitchen. Xiaolongbao are sometimes known as soup dumplings. And the reason for that is because they're filled with a seasoned broth and a small amount of meat. So when you bite into it, you have this rich broth that's just bursting with flavor, along with the piece of meat and the chewiness of the dumpling. If you're like me, you're probably wondering, how did they get the soup inside the dumpling? If you've ever made chicken broth at home, you know that it will congeal into a gelatinous texture once it's chilled. So what they do is they combine that with a meat paste and use that to fill the dumplings. And then once the dumplings are heated, the broth becomes liquid again. This person is making wontons, but the process is basically the same. You just wrap it differently, and instead of boiling it, you would steam the dumplings. And of course, I'm thinking of a way to make these with something delicious with a lot of vegetables on the inside. I was even thinking, how could someone make a xiaolongbao without the meat? Like maybe with a broth and then with vegetables. I found a product called agar that's made out of seaweed, and it helps to make a gelatin. So we could add that to a broth and get it to gelatinize and then mix in with vegetables for the xiaolongbao. So I'll be thinking about that in the future. I do hope you liked this week's video and that I've inspired you to get out and try to find the best deals in your city. And if you do find a good deal, I'd love to hear about it. Thanks so much for watching, friends. I'll see you next week.
Morning has broken, my windows are open. Wanna feel the wind blow through my hair. Which way do I follow? What happens tomorrow? I turn to you and hope you can guide the way. Sometimes I get